it all started. So it started between a conversation between myself and the managing director, Ronnie Whelan. He looked after the trading department at the time, so was very, across all the football teams and how the football's performing. He knew for my sins that I supported Sheffield Wednesday, and he said, "Look, Dom, where are we in the customer service world? Are we like the Sheffield Wednesday of customer service?" And I was like, "It's not a bad place to be. You know, sometimes we have some bad games, sometimes we have some good." And he was like, "Dom, how do we become Barcelona?" So we just grabbed that concept and we ran with it. So it was all about creating a transformation plan from getting from Sheffield Wednesday to a world-class club in Barcelona.
So right from the start, our goals for our road to Barcelona were that we wanted a clear transformation plan to get us from Sheffield Wednesday to being a Barcelona level club. We wanted to rebrand from being a typical contact centre. The Leeds kind of contact centre customer service employment market is particularly competitive, and we really wanted to become a destination of choice for contact centre advisors and really be a really fantastic place to work. We needed an engaging way to communicate with our people if we were going to get to Barcelona. And we wanted to drive improvements on NPS and other key KPIs. And we wanted to do that by using gamification at it to its best effects. And most of all, we wanted to have fun. SBG is a very, very fun place to work. We bring the fun, and we spend a lot of time at work, and it's all about having as much fun as possible.
So with that, I wanted to really, bring this to life, the gamification element and the fun element. So when I was sat at home one night, I was thinking around Sheffield Wednesday and Barcelona and how we can visually, show our progress to becoming a world-class club. So even though this might look a little bit complicated, I'll try and keep it as simple as possible. But across the top are our KPIs, our key performance indicators. And then down the left-hand side, we've got the different leagues. So Conference being quite a poor league to be in, and Barcelona being Champions League is the place where we want to be. So for each week, we devised a point system. So the better we did across our KPIs, the more points we got. So there's an example on the next slide here. So for example, we were Premier League status for NPS, and we got 30 points in that box. If you look across to quality, we weren't performing as well as we wanted to. So we got 15 points in that box because we were coming out at championship level. These then totaled the score down the bottom right-hand side, and that brought us out at Sheffield United, unfortunately, which is our biggest rivals in Sheffield Wednesday. And then what we did, we put a points score to every single team in the leagues. So as you can see, we started at Sheffield Wednesday on the left-hand side, and then in the template, our next club that we got to was Sheffield United at 140 points, and it was all about going through the leagues, getting promoted to Champions League, and becoming Barcelona.
As this developed, it became not just a way of gamifying our KPIs, but it also started to link to many other facets of normal kind of contact centre life. And essentially, we linked this back to our salary bandings, and we themed our salary bandings. We basically believed that everyone we brought in, at the start of their journey with us, was a Premier League player. But then we wanted to equip them with the skills and knowledge and experience to progress to, Champions League players. And as they did that, they were rewarded by going up the salary bandings and becoming expert players. As part of this, we developed scorecards. So there were different scorecards for the different leagues. And this really helped our advisors to understand exactly what they needed to do to progress and how they developed through the leagues. And we even then linked this to behaviours. A key part of the Barcelona story in terms of the football club was, and that resonated with us, was that if the behaviours of the players off the pitch didn't fit with the club's values, there was no way they would ever get onto that bench in that starting 11. And for us, it wasn't just about what we did, it was about how we did it. So the behaviours were just as important as the KPIs and other metrics.
As a business, we've grown quite a lot over the last 5 years, and the Customer Experience Centre was getting bigger, and we knew we had a problem around communication and landing key messages. It was important as part of Barcelona that we almost pledged to our people how we were going to communicate better. So one of the first things that we introduced was that we were going to give guaranteed time with myself and Sarah and anybody else around the business to give key updates to these individuals, to the whole department. And this was almost showcasing our progress towards Barcelona as well. What was really cool about this is we also brought a concept to life. in Praise Machine. What this is a bit of a gaming element, but this is basically a concept where our people can vote for their peers, their managers, for good work that they've done. So it's peer-to-peer recognition, and throughout the stand-ups we call out key performers as well as calling out the nominations and the winners for Praise Machine, which was a massive part of engagement as well.
So we'd set out on our journey from Sheffield Wednesday to Barcelona. We had a plan, and we knew that along the way we'd get promoted through the different leagues, and we shared with our advisors and the rest of the teams how we would progress along this road to Barcelona. Key part of this was some of the visuals that we developed. This wasn't just about our customer experience centre. This was also about engaging the rest of the business with us. Our customer experience centre, when we actually get to be in our office, is right in the middle of our office. And people walk through all the time, and there's a real buzz, and people love to come and see us. So a key part of this was that we have this built onto our wall so that people could see where we were doing and how we were going on our journey to Barcelona. As part of this, we agreed that we had a really amazing incentive that we would send 15 advisors to Barcelona. So every month, the top performing advisors would get boarding passes, and these went into a glass box that was mounted on the Barcelona wall. And then they know that when we get to the end and there's the big party, that they get entered into the draw and can win that trip to Barcelona.
A massive part, of Barcelona is about celebrating success, and we needed to make sure that we followed through with what we were saying when we wanted to deliver our road to Barcelona and the incentives on the way. So every time that we got promoted through a league, we'd have a big party for everybody within the CX department in the centre of Leeds, and naturally we'd put on a great event. We'd make sure that we've got awards for Players Player, Most Improved Player, Barca Leader of the Year, and yeah, it was just every time we got promoted, we wanted to showcase to them how thankful we are for all their hard work.
Around 6-7 months ago, we came up with this mission, Destination Barcelona, on becoming a world-class customer service team.
Barcelona for us is just about becoming the best, and for us it's really making sure that we get together as one team and deliver the best customer service.
The better the quality of service that we're delivering, the higher our points gained through these KPIs. And over the last 26 weeks, we have gone from Sheffield Wednesday, and today is the day we are finally being promoted into Premier League.
Yeah, I think for us it's making an environment for our people that they can really thrive, so they know what great customer service is, make sure they fully understand the journey that we're on.
Next, the journey to get from Premier League to Champions League, and that's to stretch our KPIs even more.
I think it's just the start, isn't it? So now we've kind of set our benchmark to say, look, we're Premier League, and take the next step, which everybody's absolutely capable of and everyone's bought into.
It's great to see us getting recognised for something that we've been striving at all year. We're still not at that Barcelona level yet, but it's something that if we see things like this promotion fight that's going on today, it's something we want to keep striving at, and hopefully 6 months down the line we'll be at that Barcelona.
Providing top quality service, hitting KPIs, and working together as a team.
There's an old phrase of happy people, happy customers, and keeping these guys engaged and living the dream of getting to Barcelona is everything.
So we realised very early on that a key part of us getting to Barcelona was making sure that we were engaging with our team leader population. We needed great leaders to lead by example, but also to lead the team day in, day out. So Barca Leaders was born. Some of this was about kind of back to basics in terms of key management skills, coaching, time management, reward and recognition. We also went a step further, and we used some specialist sessions with Liz Carter, who's a gambling addiction specialist. And we did a lot of kind of mental health training and things in conjunction with Mind as well. We wanted to help make our leaders world-class leaders and Barcelona leaders as well. So as you would expect, it wasn't all plain sailing. Dom said this started out originally as a plan for a 12-month programme. It ended up being nearer to 24 months. We hit a few bumps along the road. So back in March 2019, We had the Cheltenham Festival, massive horse racing festival, massive for our industry. And we had a special offer that went absolutely viral. It way exceeded anybody's expectations. And although very good for us commercially as a business, it absolutely decimated our customer experience teams. It blew us out of the water in terms of the amount of contacts we received. And it had a very long tail in terms of the recovery for us as well. Also around the same time, we were taken over our parent group by TSG. So there was quite a bit of a shift in terms of concerns about job losses and synergies and things going on at that time. Then we had some regulation changes as an industry. So there were a lot of changes we had to complete in terms of processes for new customers, but also existing. So that left us in a position where for 3 months, our KPIs had actually gone backwards, not forwards. We weren't moving through the leagues, and we were concerned about the impact that this was having on our advisors and the advisor engagement.
So what do? We spoke to our people, and we wanted to understand, look, how can we rejuvenate Barcelona? You know, what we did is we had focus groups with the advisors, and they felt it was very unfair that Answer It was kind of out of their control at that point. A lot was happening. Answer It was constantly getting hit, and they couldn't see us moving through the leagues. So we took a decision to take that KPI away, and that helped. You know, it got us back on track and got the people back engaged in terms of our progression towards Barcelona. What we also did is introduce Barca Bootcamp. So we took a little bit of a different direction, and we had focus areas for each month, and we just focused on one KPI at a time. And this really boosted our progression, got people bought in, and rejuvenated again towards Barcelona. And this brought us to promotion for Champions League, which was a long time coming for us. As Sarah said, you know, it was initially going to be a 12-month concept. It ended up being 24 months. So again, celebrating success, making sure everyone's a part of that, you know, us as a business saying thank you. Not only was it at this point, you know, just for CX, the whole business was talking about us. It was one of the CEO's key call outs for the year. It was fantastic.
So fast forward then to March 2020, Cheltenham Festival comes again, and it was our most successful ever Cheltenham in terms of the customer KPIs, in terms of commercials. It was absolutely fantastic, and we were so proud as a team. The difference between Cheltenham 2020 and Cheltenham 2019 was night and day. And then 3 days later, COVID-19 hits us, and we have to move from working from home in just 3 days. Just as an example, none of our advisors worked off laptops. They all worked off desktops. So we had to secure over 200 laptops and get them built for us in under 3 days so that we could get everybody working from home. We did it. We were so proud of them. But yet again, it would hit our KPIs, and we knew we had to hit quickly because we were so close to getting to Barcelona, and we didn't want it to detract from that. So we adapted, we introduced new communication methods, we introduced a daily dot, which still kept the Barcelona goals alive, and we introduced the Barca Golden Goals. This was a way that we could achieve some achievable KPIs in a working from home environment to get us to Barcelona and get us over that final stretch. And I'm very pleased to say that we did get to Barcelona.
So we did get there, but I'm conscious of time. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly hurry up. So what we wanted to do is put on one of the biggest events that we could, but we're in a working from home environment. So this is what we put together.
Today, I get to take you through destination Barcelona. Ideally, we'd be in Barcelona or having a big party to celebrate, but instead, we are in this fantastic warehouse in Weatherby, where finally we get to do the live prize draw and pick our hard-working advisors out of a raffle, and we get to send them to Barcelona. We started off at Sheffield Wednesday, and today we are world-class status in Barcelona.
COVID really threw us like a spanner in our works and our plans for Barcelona. But actually now, when I walked in here and saw the setup, I was just like, actually, there's no better way to end Barcelona for us.
Proudest moment being today, where we actually get to deliver on what we set out to, and that's send people to Barcelona for their hard work. And I think that's massive.
It's one of the best kind of gamifications of KPIs that I've ever come across in my career.
And it's because of you that we can now say we've become, Barcelona and a world-class team.
This was just one of many nominations, and you should be super proud.
And then everyone, we'll see you soon.
Enjoy the rest of the party. Bye, guys.
It's like, can we make it work? Actually seeing everyone's faces connected. This huge pandemic's going on, but we're all together in one room.
So you guys have absolutely just took it to that next level. Thank you.
Well done, everyone.
Woo! Woo, woo, woo.
Thank you. I appreciate we're out of time. We have got a couple more slides, but if you'd like us to pause here, we can.
Yeah, the timing, we'll have to pause here. Awesome, guys. My goodness. So it gives us an opportunity now to get the best out of the session. So if there's any questions that we'll put through ourselves, I'll start with one if you don't mind, and then we'll pass on to Belinda. Crikey, what good timings as Leeds enters into the next promotion. Had to slip that in. Sorry, Dominic, sorry. But being from Leeds, sitting in Leeds today, I just think, oh, okay, fabulous. Anyway, moving on before I get dumped off. Did you specifically set within your business case then, because you've got some great results there, did you specifically set targets from the outset within your business case?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So initially we did have all the scoring in place in terms of what we deemed world-class status, and these were quite high targets. As we got promoted through different leagues, we actually swapped out a KPI. So right at the first screen, you'll have seen there was 3 KPIs that were in deep yellow. These were the ones that we focused on because we had the right data and we understood them enough. And then throughout the concept, we started to add things in. So the scoring slightly changed, but it was important to be transparent with our people around how does that does change. Because what we did is, because we implemented a new KPI, it'd be unfair for our guys to get to the top of that quicker. So what we do is just make sure that the weighting felt right.
Yeah, no, good. Thank you very much. That answers my question. So Belinda, do you have a question?
Yes, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for that presentation. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And the questions that I had from the written submission, you've answered beautifully. So that's a good job done. So I guess my question would be, what next? Now, I'm not a football person, but I don't know what comes above the Champions League. So when you've got everybody there, what do you do next?
I think if we'd have, our final couple of slides were basically to say that essentially it started off as a way of engaging the CX, and this has now become part of our DNA. It's our way of life. So I think some of the proudest things are like when you're in a meeting and you're talking about a customer journey and someone says, well, that's not good enough, that's not Barcelona. It's become the part of our language, the way that we talk about things. But also it's become really powerful in the way that we engage with other parts of the business, and everybody is bought into it. So we're actually part of a wider customer tribe, which includes product teams, marketing teams, technical teams. And what we've decided is that we want to do something similar on a gamification basis, but for the whole tribe. And at the moment, we're thinking that we're going to do this along the Monopoly theme. So we've got 4 key pillars of our customer experience as a business, which are ease, safe, value, and entertain. And so they can form each side of the Monopoly board. And then we'll have certain things that you can kind of work to as you go around. We're thinking we might have where we've got broken customer journeys, we might send them to jail. And then as teams, we have to work together to get them out. And that's it's really early stages at the moment, but we're going to launch that in January next year. So that's what's next.
Look forward to seeing that. Thank you.
Okay, so Charlene, you got a question?
Yep, I do. Thank you. Great presentation, and a huge undertaking with massive achievements, especially with all that you've endured, including COVID, right? My question is, you know, it looks like you were all on the journey together, but in large teams, there are always some people who don't quite get it than others, and it takes an extra step to kind of galvanize everybody so everybody is running in the same direction. How did you manage that?
Do you want me to that, Says?
Yep, you go.
I think the joy of Barcelona and what we've learned going into the monopoly concept is just the simplest things make the most sense. So everybody kind of, even if you don't know football, you know Barcelona is a world-class team. Most people know Sheffield Wednesday is not that great or where you want to be. So actually, just getting the hook at that really helps sell the vision and the transformation. And I think in the slides as well, we've called out that I think it was over 90% of people understood exactly what they needed to do and understood the vision. So we were quite lucky in terms of it growing legs. And actually, it wasn't just us, you know, selling this dream. Actually, you'd speak to an advisor and they'd be pumped by Barcelona and they'd be telling the new starters. Do you know what I mean? So we were quite lucky in that aspect. I suppose with KPIs, you know, the ones that might not have been performing as well, actually, Buddy Bay, or we call it our grassroots players, you know, they had different targets, how they could get in. And through, you know, player most improved and calling out different key performers in the stand-ups, this really helped them get engaged, along with the praise machine concept as well.
I think as well, just to add to that, the fact that we were open and honest and transparent about it, and we weren't afraid to make changes or change the targets when they did become unattainable. It kept people bought in. We weren't saying to them that they had to achieve something that felt unachievable. We listened to them and we adapted and we flexed with it. So I think that kept people engaged as we went through as well.
Excellent, thank you.
Hayden, do you have a question?
I sure do. So great presentation, guys. Loved all the details and certainly the imagery. As a West Brom fan, I saw West Brom on the table there. So again, quite happy this season. My question was around kind of leadership. That's my specialism. So I understand the concept of Barca leaders, but I guess what I'm interested in is how did leaders play a part in this in a day in, day out role as to inspiring your teams to keep on track with this and achieving it?
If I take that first, and then I'll let Dom kind of add as well. I think Dom would never say this herself, but Dom is our, you know, she's our Pep Guardiola. She leads the team. She's a fantastic leader, and this was her idea, and she's been passionate for it the whole way through. She takes everyone on the journey with her, and she really, really buys into it. I joined the business about 4 or 5 months after this was launched. This is one of the reasons I joined the business. Ronnie Whelan, my boss, kind of sold this to me as part of the recruitment process, and I bought into it straight away and thought, right, I have to go and work here. I have to go and be part of this. And it's, for me, it's about genuinely, authentically living the values and living the behaviours that we're expecting to see. And Dom embodies that, and her operational managers embody that. And I think it because it feels authentic, and we're not asking people to do anything that we're not doing ourselves or that doesn't feel like common sense and logical to people. I think that's why it became a way of life. And the culture at SBG, we're a betting and gambling company, but essentially we're a people company and we're a tech company. And this really just embodies that and brings that to life. But I'll let Dom add to that as well.
Thanks, Sarah. That's really nice. I were lucky enough to be promoted into head of position just before we came up with this concept. So it was I didn't realise how big it was going to be, and actually I just thought it was going to be something small that we rolled out as a small incentive, and then before I know it, you know, it's absolutely grown legs, and I'm super proud of it. And I think one of the big things for me, you know, talking about leadership, to be sat in my front room thinking about a small concept and a gamification, to Ian Proctor, the CEO at the time, presenting that to the whole business as one of his key achievements for the year, and for them to be bought in throughout as well, not to mention signing off a budget, you know, that's massive. And for us we went through this period of changing from a contact center to a customer experience center, because actually, you know, we're the heart of this business, and people, you know, from the rest of the business now, directors, all levels, come to us and are asking for stuff rather than us pushing stuff. That, you know, what are our broken customer journeys? And I think, I don't know, I just feel super proud to be part of SBG, to be honest, because the leadership team are great, very open environment, and I've always been bought into this Barcelona vision. It's really helped.
Brilliant. And just last but most certainly not least, Simon, have you got a question?
I have indeed. So yeah, well done, guys. Great presentation. I'm a Liverpool fan, but can still respect that. It's fine, you know, no bad blood here. And Dom, I think maybe a new career in sports presenting could be on after that as well. So I'm a big fan of gamification. So I love what you guys did there in terms of how to get people excited, engaged, all of that stuff. That's great. But one of the things I found is almost a bit of a playoff from that is that where you're really incentivizing specific behaviors, and you talked about putting points to activities, sometimes other behaviors drop off because they're not the ones that are getting people the accolades anymore. So did you guys find any sort of trade-off from doing that approach where some behaviors got worse or people stopped doing certain tasks?
I mean, for me, I can start with that one, Says, if you want. I think because it's very, we set out expectations very clearly at the beginning. You know, it's almost, as you start as a grassroots player, you have got a scorecard and you know exactly what you need to do to increase your salaries. And then what was side by side with that, with these behaviours, it became a lot easier for our team managers, especially through the Barca Leaders programme, to have very clear, open, honest conversations. Look, I'd be lying if I said we didn't have bad behaviours, you know, throughout CX. There's always going to be some of those, but ultimately what this did is that we had a lot less of those because people knew exactly what was expected of them, and how to behave, really. Does that answer your question? But ultimately, yeah, we're always going to see some bad behaviours, but setting those expectations out at the start and having regular one-to-ones with our people and making sure that they're on track in terms of building to a Champions League player was key in being able to stamp some of that out.
I think as well, added into that we had total visibility of where we were in the league and how we were performing, and every advisor had their own dashboard within Salesforce where they could see, you know, their own kind of scores and how they were contributing. And the open culture is such that, you know, the team started to challenge each other when they could hear someone on a call next to them. They might say, "Oh, that wasn't very Barcelona, mate. You could have done this instead." And that, you know, when you've got that is so powerful. That does a lot of the work for you if the advisors are kind of, you know, self-managing in that way, because they're, you know, you've got people that are real advocates and really care about it. That then influences those that are maybe not as bought in or a bit cynical. And that definitely helped us, especially with engaging wider teams, you know, within, say, the complaints team or the quality team, kind of bringing them into it as well.
That was great. Thank you.
That's great.